Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of Sports Shorts, presented by LaBerge Casino. Ronnie Rance here with you at LaBerge Casino. A lot of great events coming up in the fall. It's the place to be, the Friday nights before LSU football. Today, we'll talk a little football in the second half hour with Clay Moffitt. We'll talk to him. He's been out there covering a lot of practices for the Tigers. Of course, his dad's the strength and conditioning coach, and we'll talk a little baseball. But the first half hour, probably a little exclusively baseball. And normally this time of the year, we wouldn't be talking so much about baseball. But the Little League World Series has kind of captured the attention of folks throughout the state of Louisiana. They had tremendous ratings over the last week and a half. Sports bars were filled yesterday. Restaurants watching the international finals as Team Louisiana won the World Series. For the first time ever in the state's history, an international champion and a national champion is going to hail from the state of Louisiana. Joining me is Brad Cressy, former LSU Tiger great and a guy who knows a lot about summer baseball, travel ball, youth baseball, 14 and under. It's kind of been his life for many, many years. How are you, Brad?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
So did it capture your attention like it did everybody else?
It sure did. I tell you, all social media, my Facebook stream was filled. They captured the audience of the entire country. I know Louisiana people were following them, and these little 12-year-olds are like little heroes.
It's the first time that a USA team has won back-to-back titles in like 10 years or whatever. So it's quite an accomplishment. The international teams have won 6 of the last 10 World Series. So exciting for Team Louisiana to win in such dominant fashion against Curacao, who I thought was a pretty good team. It just was Team Louisiana's day yesterday. As a guy who has spends many, many hours, many, many days and nights over the course of a year at Little League ballparks and doing baseball 14U, what was your overall takeaway of the festivities, the level of play, et cetera?
I tell you, I don't know if you can get any better than the Grove in the outfield and the amount of people that the Little League World Series has really brought to the forefront. It's exciting watching these kids play. You can tell they're not only league players, but they're travel ball players who also play league. And the level of play at such a young age is truly incredible.
The Roussel kid, I joked, being the president and CEOs, we take a look at Roussel right here, who had 17 hits in the World Series. He had 17, which is a Little League World Series record. Right. Yeah. And the first time that he ever got up to the plate, you could tell there's like a Will Clark swagger about this young man, right? I mean,
he's got it. You can just tell in his body language. I don't think anybody's ever been as hot as that guy. I think they said he's had like 17 swings in a row without a swing and a miss. The guy was on fire. Short swing, compact swing, and it seemed like every time he got up, he was lacing a line drive to right center.
Now, I don't have any comparison. From a standpoint of, I don't remember 12-year-old ball other than when I was 12, and unfortunately, that was a very long time ago. So I don't have a comparison of to what level these kids are playing at now. My world in summer baseball has always been in the 17, 18-year-old kind of world. But you know that space, that 14U, 12U travel ball space. This team from River Ridge, not to take anything away from them, they won their championship in the parameters of the rules that they were given, right? There's no kids from North Louisiana. There's no kids from other states. It's kids that are from a geographical district. And so they're the best players that play in their league in that geographical district. Would this be considered, in a U-Trip world, which you know very, very well, would this be considered major? Would they be like, one of the better major teams? I mean, how does this compare to other top teams that you see year in and year out?
Yeah, I definitely think they would be a very, very strong major team. This team is comprised of 3 well-known travel ball teams that I know at the major level. So they would compete. I don't know exactly where they would stack up, this exact team within the major ranks here in the state of Louisiana, but I think they would obviously compete in the top 5.
I would imagine that, like myself, many, many people have asked you over the last couple of weeks, hey, why doesn't Baton Rouge? Why doesn't Traction? Why doesn't Cypress Mounds? Why doesn't Baton Rouge? Why isn't there more Little League than what is out there currently? Right? We know that there's a league in Lafayette. We know that there's a league in Lake Charles. But those leagues have peaks and valleys. Like this year, Lafayette wasn't real strong. In the past, they've gone to the World Series a couple times. Lake Charles gone to the World Series a couple times. Maybe explain for the folks out there that don't quite understand all the different parameters of summer baseball, Little League versus all the other leagues.
Well, I can't ever rule anything out. I've been bombarded here with New Orleans going about having a league here in Baton Rouge, and we are going to look into it here at Traction. But a lot of people that are in league ball, they want to play with their school friends. And with Little League, there's a draft where people select teams, and there's a player-by-player basis. So you're not necessarily playing with your school friends, and parents aren't with people that they know. People are willing to do that in the travel ball world in tournaments to play with like talent, but in league ball in the Baton Rouge area, people want to play with their school friends and parents' friends. So it's a little different setup, something that we're definitely going to look into just because of the TV coverage and the setup that these kids are able to be put in. There's nothing that can compare. Cooperstown Dreams Park is a 12-year-old tournament that has 104 teams every single week for 13 weeks. And it's what we consider real baseball. There's leads, there's slide steps, picks, it's major league rules. But it doesn't get the coverage on national TV like this Little League does. So I used to say that, the Little League World Series is not real baseball, right? They don't take leads. They're on the base. They're playing from what we consider our 9 and 10-year-old distances. Mm-hmm. And they're pitching from the windup at all times. And some of these kids are 2 years away from high school. But once again, you can't replicate.
These guys are going to the White House.
Exactly. And what it does is with the coverage, it's the hometown communities. I mean, the whole New Orleans, they're probably going to have a parade for these guys.
Saturday they are.
Are they
Metairie.
really?
Yeah, Saturday.
That's fantastic.
A parade in Metairie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So anyways, we are going to look into it, but that's the difference. So it's you kind of have a draft, and you're playing with kids you don't know, as opposed to your local St. Jude, St. Aloysius, Our Lady of Mercy group together and then come in the league.
Yeah, it's and I get it. In USSSA, correct me if I say anything wrong, but once you turn 9 years old, and not just UTRIP, a lot of different leagues out there. Once you turn 9 years old, you're playing you're taking leads, you're stealing bases. The pitcher has to hold you on from the stretch and deal with bunts and all that sort of thing. And they don't have to do that at the Little League World Series currently. And I'm sure the rules will stay that way forever. It's how it's been for 100 years, or however long the league's been around. But it's just baseball. It's American apple pie. You and I both grew up watching that ABC international championship game and dreamed of being in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's just a part of our culture. It's like the hot dog eating contest on 4th of July. You know what I mean? Like, there are other eating contests all around the country, but that one's the one that gets the most attention and is the biggest title to win. I'm curious. The next few months are going to be interesting for you.
We'll see.
As you delve through all the rules and regulations. I know I was talking to Joe Sherman, who's the Hall of Fame junior college baseball coach at Delgado, and his dad, Rag Sherman, who passed away years ago, but is in the Hall of Fame as well. Joe reminded me of a conversation he had with his dad back 30 years or 40 years ago about Little League. And because New Orleans for the longest time was a Babe Ruth town, first and foremost, Babe Ruth Legion. That's what New Orleans was for years and years and years, and there was no really other leagues. And his dad just said at the time that there was just too many restrictions, too many rules. It was like dealing, with a bunch of lawyers, Little League. It was a very difficult. So from that perspective, they kind of shied away from it. Hopefully, maybe some of the things have loosened over the years. I don't know if you saw this statistic that came out last week. It's got to make you happy. They showed a statistic that there's 3 million more baseball players playing youth baseball since 2013 to 2018. That's tremendous growth around the country.
It is incredible. Whether it's league, Little League, USSSA leagues or other sanctioning bodies, and the travel ball, tournament baseball has really exploded.
Do you have a thought on why youth baseball has improved so much? from a numbers standpoint has literally risen each and every year over the last, say, 7 years?
Well, I mean, baseball is really a sport that everybody can play. Right? You don't have to be 7 foot tall. You don't have to run a certain speed. You don't have to be Godzilla and be the strongest guy on the planet to play. So I think until a certain age, when you get up to high school and it can expose you a little bit, everybody can play it, right? And I think that, along with Major League Baseball now, I guess with some of the juice balls we might talk about later on, there's a big buzz in major leagues, and of course in our area with LSU, it's a huge sport, and I think it's going to continue to grow.
Do you put any stock in the fact that, with football, there's been so much concussion talk over this past decade, and we are seeing a decline in those numbers as far as youth football. There's a lot more rules. You can't start playing tackle till later on, and it's more touch at the youth level.
Well,
do you think that has a factor possibly in people going, well, I don't know about this contact stuff. I'm going to go over here to baseball?
Well, I will say this. The tackle numbers might be declining, but we do run a flag football league at Traction, and we're over 666 kids. So the flag football numbers, you hit the nail on the head with the concussions and a lot of other reasons. People are migrating to flag football, and especially when a guy like Drew Brees is endorsing it. So people are steering towards flag football. I tell you what, in Texas, people play baseball year-round. They play in the fall, winter, and the spring. But in Louisiana, the fall baseball is really – what's the word I'm looking for? There's hardly any.
Yeah,
there's hardly any fall
there's
baseball.
Not much
because football's dominant.
So
whether it's youth playing flag football or up in 7th and 8th and above playing tackle, those are the two dominant sports here.
Well, the thing about fall football is it's not – I really believe this. I don't think it's so much about kids not wanting to play fall baseball, rather. It's the parents don't want to bring them, because they want their LSU tailgating and they want their Saints time. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Honestly, I really think that's a big factor. Parents look at the schedule and go, "You wait a minute. Every Saturday and Sunday in the fall, I've got other things I want to do."
That is a big factor. That's a big factor.
Because obviously there's a huge commitment in travel ball. If you do it at the highest level, you might be going, January through July. In the spring, so it's like mama and daddy are like, hey, fall, September, October is my time.
You're right. You're right. Plus, I need time to take their arm, for arm care. I mean, there needs to be four months where they don't pick up a baseball. If you're going to play that travel ball schedule January through July, like you said, that's a lot of baseball for a young kid, and we don't want to burn these kids out. People always talk about the burnout and how much is too much. Well, if you let them play football and you give them 4 to 5 months off, then come January, they're eager to start back up and get back into it. So
I was going to ask you that. I mean, we're visiting with Brad Cressy, of course, former LSU Tiger great, and a guy who has kind of devoted his life to youth baseball. You mentioned 4 months off in a calendar year. Is that kind of your mindset?
Yeah, so usually the season finishes in July, and that's when a lot of people have tryouts, and they put their teams together for the following spring. So August, people are getting back into school. So August, September, October, November, we preach you can go out and hit when you're not in football practice. If you're playing football, go out, take ground balls, fly balls, but get your arm a good 3.5, 4 months break before you start another throwing program to lead into December and January practices.
Nowadays, when you watch college and you watch Major League Baseball, the radar score lights up like a pinball machine. I mean, it's just amazing. It's more about, oh, wait, he only threw 89? Like, that gets more attention than a guy throwing 99. I mean, we almost look at it like, oh, this poor guy, only throwing 89. What's do you attribute something to that?
I think just getting in the weight room. I know we did that back in the day, but just training as an athlete, not training as a bodybuilder. I know back in the day I had an advantage in middle school because I dedicated myself to weights. This was before the craze of training middle school kids like athletes. So I'm in there doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger type workout. But these kids from a young age are learning how to train properly.
Sports specific, yeah.
Correct. Training for power and explosiveness and the core, and not just lifting bicep curls and bench press. That along with throwing programs, long toss, which is obviously what we strongly believe in, and just going out there and playing. So January through July, That's a lot. That's a lot more playing than back in the league ball days, like you and I probably did with All Stars, where you play one game a week. These guys are practicing 2 days a week and playing multiple games on the weekends.
Do you attribute the coaching as well? I mean, it seems like everybody and their brother is doing lessons, whether it's at a facility in their backyard, whatever the case may be. There are tons of folks that are passing on knowledge and information now that honestly, like even when I'm not that old, 47 years old, but when I was growing up, there were just a handful of people in New Orleans where I lived that were doing really any lessons or clinics or things like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, whether it's just Baton Rouge, the state of Louisiana, all around, lessons back in the day, you try to get an advantage, right? If you had lessons to hone your skills and be ahead of the curve. Now, if you don't get lessons, it seems like you're behind the 8 ball. Everyone's doing it, and the knowledge being passed around. Like, let's go back and talk about Little League World Series. Those 3 coaches, right? The third base coach, he's dedicating his time and effort. He's got 3 daughters, I believe. He doesn't have kids on the team. So it's guys like that are dedicating their time and effort and their knowledge of the game to the youth of today. And whether, like I said, it's a 12-year-olds or high school kids, the information that's out there, the practices, the sports-specific training, everything that we're talking about is the reason why these young players are playing at such a high level. And the radar scores, shoot, if you threw 90 miles an hour coming out of high school, back in the day, in the 90s, you probably weren't going to go to LSU. You're going to be a first-round draft pick. Now, everybody's throwing 90. Mm-hmm. So, we had guys like, Coogan or Ainsworth who might have slipped through because they were late bloomers, weren't throwing the 90s as a high school kid, and then when they got there, they started throwing that hard. But like you said, nowadays, if you throw 89, the guy only throws 89. That's not a bad velo.
Well, it was funny. I saw where J.C. Holt, former Tiger great, who's a coach in Central Louisiana, won a state championship, I believe, at Pitkin, last year in Class B. And he had a young man whose, commitment to LSU, just finished his junior year and just committed like a week ago to LSU. And he's a big 6'5" righty. And in the article that I read, J.C. said, and the kid was a great athlete, basketball team, best player, the best player on their baseball team. And he said, and he won a state championship. And he said, he was only throwing, 83 to 85. And I told him, I'm not going to make any phone calls to Division I baseball until you touch, until you're throwing consistently 88. And the kid over the course of like 2 months, weights and working out and doing all the right thing, got his velocity up, and now he's hitting 88, 89, and it's those stories that are funny because, we think back to the success that, let's say, Skip Bertman had in his first 5 national championship teams, and there were lots of guys that threw 85, 86, 87 miles an hour, and LSU was fortunate enough to win national championships. Nowadays, those guys might not really throw very much unless they had a Vulcan death grip curve or something.
No, you're exactly right. It's the game. The players of today. I don't know.
Bigger, stronger, faster.
It's crazy.
Bigger, stronger, faster.
Yep.
He's Brad Cressy, former Tiger great. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll visit with Brad, talk a little bit about Major League Baseball and what's going on right now in this record-setting year. And then the second half hour, Clay Moffitt will join us. We'll talk a little LSU football as we are less than a week away from the start of that season. Sports Shorts presented by LeBears coming up next.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows.
Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rance, Brad Cressy here with us. Mr. Baton Rouge Best Dressed. How about that? What was that experience like?
That was a blast.
I mean, you got to be a model on a runway. That had to be a dream come true.
No, I got to walk with Brandon Holly's wife, Adrienne Holly. She was a fantastic partner, and it was truly an amazing event. I've been in the last couple of years, but being able to walk, I mean, it raised, I think, $1 million. $1 million for the American Cancer Society. So it's a great cause and a great reason to party.
And there were a lot of events throughout the year. That's the thing. It's not just the one night for you guys, right?
Correct.
There were other events and things throughout the year. That's one of those events, man. From as a guy who's knows a little bit about nonprofits, that's an incredible thing. They've now grown it over the last X amount of years, just kept inching up. And I think 2 years in a row they've raised over $1 million. It's the second largest one in the country for the American Cancer Society, I believe. I'd heard that. Whether that's true or not, I'm going with it. But pretty incredible event. I'm sure you had a blast, and of course the Hollies with Relief Windows are great people. We were talking earlier in the first half hour about the Little League World Series, how it's kind of captured the attention of the state of Louisiana. We know that they've been invited to the White House. We know that there's going to be a parade on Saturday in Metairie and Jefferson Parish. We know that as we tape here on Monday day, that this afternoon at 4 o'clock they land in New Orleans, and they're encouraging folks to come out to Zephyr Field, to the parking lot at Zephyr Field, because that's where they're gonna all the cars are and everything, and the bus, and there's going to be a public kind of meet and greet and all out there. So this is, and look, I'm sure they're going to be in Endymion, Bacchus. You're going to see this team in Little League parades and whatnot throughout the year. It's really been truly incredible. And you worked with a couple of guys, the Jordan twins and others that played in the Little League World Series, but for whatever reason, this particular team has just captured the attention.
I don't even know if these kids realize what they've done until they get home and they see the outpouring of support. What you said at the airport or at Zephyr Field, these parades, they lifted up an entire state. I mean, most people here don't probably watch Little League, and then all of a sudden they hear a Louisiana team's in it, and this weekend, people might have actually spent time out of their prepared weekend to watch Little League baseball and support these little 12-year-olds.
And a pretty cool summer for River Ridge because the softball, the girls' 12-year-old softball team finished second in the country.
Holy cow.
So they're actually participating in the parade with them on Saturday. So yeah, from one area of New Orleans, one suburb of New Orleans, they had a international championship and then a second place finish in the World Championship in softball, which was on ESPN. So it's really incredible the coverage that these kids have gotten and everything. I was joking. I had Stanley Wiltz III, the dad of the shortstop, on Sports Shorts Radio over the weekend, and I said, your son now has become more famous than Kramer Robertson. And I mean, and I truly believe that in this moment, there's more. The Q rating of Stanley Wiltz, might be up there with Kramer. The attention that these kids have gotten for a month now. You go back to the regionals in Texas and the coverage and all the social media and all the special features that they've done. I mean, I feel like we all know their story.
It's incredible. I wonder what it's going to be like when they go back to school.
Right.
I'm sure they're going to be announced in the auditorium or what have you. And man, I'm excited for them.
And I feel like I was watching you back in the late '90s when they were always interviewing or showing your parents in the stands, your mom and dad, when you were hitting all those bombs in the College World Series. The people got the full Cressy story and everything. And your dad, Mark, is he still involved out in California? Is he still doing any baseball?
Yeah, he runs his baseball camps all summer long and then during the winter. But he's not with Major League Baseball anymore. I think he retired back in '98. Sosha asked him to get with the Angels in 2001, and his rotators shot, and I think he's tired of the travel.
BP, so there was
he knows how to do a job one way, and if he can't do it to the max, he's not going to do it. But he does his camp, so he still stays involved.
Now, your dad's camp, correct me if is it still a beast? I mean, because it was. I know that's where you kind of learned the trade, right? Growing up.
He started it when I was 5 years old, and it's called Mark Cressy School of Baseball. And it grew so large. He had 6 different sites all over Southern California. It's shrunk a little bit. He has 3 sites. He used to have an overnight camp where people from Japan, Canada, Mexico would come in. But right now it's in I'm 40 years old, so it's in its 35th year. 3 sites, and he still has a couple hundred kids every week.
A couple hundred kids every week in the summertime.
In the summertime.
Yeah. And what did you take away from that? Because everybody talks about what a great job you do at Traction and with all the you run the leagues and you organize and everything like that. What was it that Dad taught you that's in your DNA?
Well, I learned from the work ethic from watching my dad. I mean, he's my role model, obviously, and the day in, day out. If you can go to work, you're going to do it to your max ability. Every single time you put on your uniform, which for me is a dry fit shirt and shorts. Clay Moffitt in here, we were talking, he's going to be out in the business world wearing a suit and tie. I enjoy wearing my dry fits every single day. But no, it's a passion that we have for coaching and being 5 years old in that camp structure, the way my dad had it run. I just learned the basic fundamentals and teachings from a very young age. And if I can't continue to play, there's nothing better for me than passing it forward and coaching.
Your dad was a bullpen coach for many, many years with the Dodgers, and obviously you and him have a close relationship with Tommy Lasorda. Your Dodgers, by the way, pretty good season.
Really good. I tell you what, we're not getting back in Little League, but 2:00 watching River Ridge play, and then the nightcap watching the Dodgers-Yankees last night.
Yeah.
And with Kershaw on the mound, although he did give up 3 solo Johnsons with the Judge and DJ LeMahieu led off the game.
Yeah.
And then Jock Peterson led off with the Dodgers. It was a great game, but to see the Dodgers-Yankees, I don't think you can ask for a better Sunday night of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It was Dodgers have had a great season. The Dodgers are leading the NL West, Yankees are leading the AL East, but the Yankees still got to beat the Astros. Mm-hmm. So I'm got to pull for your LSU boys in Houston.
Yeah, definitely a little harder route. My dog in the hunt is the Cubs, and that goes back to just 80s, 90s when I was really watching Major League Baseball, kind of grinding on the Cubs. I haven't been a day in, day out MLB-er really since, but I still keep up. But the Cubs, at the end of the day, Cubs are my team. But I've kind of adopted the Astros because of the geography and Bregman and Harris and whatnot. But who wouldn't love to see the Yankees Dodgers? I mean, it's been since 1981 that they met in the World Series. It's probably past due. The ratings would be amazing. But DJ LeMahieu, let's talk about him for a minute.
Wow.
The guy has a chance to win the batting title in both leagues. He's already won one in the National League. He just quietly goes about his business. Bregman gets all the hype, and deservedly so. I mean, the guy's a young player, and he's doing things that are incredible. But DJ LeMahieu, Coach, right now, he's the greatest LSU player that's ever played at the Major League level. And I think he's officially, I think at the end of this season, he will have surpassed Albert Bell in my mind.
He's incredible. I tell you, from watching him as an LSU Tiger and now, his body has completely changed. Obviously, he's matured. He's just full of muscle. He's huge out there, and he can move, and he's just the quiet assassin. He, like you said, he's not the guy on social media and Twitter and Facebook, and you can get his name out there. He just quietly goes about his business and just quietly wins batting titles.
When you look back at is that a fair statement in your mind? You look back at the history of LSU baseball, and you think of the greatest player at the next level, not the greatest player at the collegiate level, but the greatest player from LSU that went on to have an unbelievable Major League Baseball career from a position player standpoint. I feel like the bar has been Joey Bell / Albert Bell.
Yeah, it has been. Todd Walker's name obviously in that mix, but when all
Albert
said
Bell
and done,
should have won an MVP because he was a jerk. He didn't get one. He finished second. But I mean, like the guy was a perennial all-star, tons of homers, first $100 million LSU baseball player, all that kind of stuff. But just and Alex Bregman right now is getting all the hype,
right? And
he's an unbelievable player in his own right. But it's an interesting dynamic. Do you want the 32 homers and a 270 batting average? Do you want the 330 batting average and the 20 homers? Which is more valuable? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. How many does DJ have now?
DJ's got 22, I believe. Now, he was banged up a little bit. Missed some games early on. He's got 22. He's hitting well over 300.
Yeah, he's hitting over 330, I saw
Bregman's
last night,
at 32 homers, which he career high. Just broke it. And who knows what his number will end up being. Probably closer to 40 by the time it's all said and done. And his average, I'm not 100% sure what it is at the very moment, but it was hovering around, say, 275. Wow. So I'll ask you, baseball guy, 275, 32 homers, or 330 and 22 homers?
Well, 330 and 22 homers, that's still production. How RBIs, too? You got to look at the RBIs. Because
DJ's in the leadoff spot, so he's not getting the opportunities that Bregman
and so if that's the case and you're on the Yankees, you want the guy that's getting on base for Judge and the guys behind him. I'll take either of them. I mean, both guys are studs. So yeah. But DJ's really now playing in New York. He was setting records in Colorado, but in that small market, unless you're an LSU fan or lived in Denver, you probably never heard of DJ LeMahieu. But now he's doing it on the big stage in New York City, and he's opening up some eyes.
As far as a player out there that gets your attention right now, who does Brad Cressy stop and watch? Who's your guy to really pay attention to?
Well, I think this year, just coming off, he's made some changes in his swing, and he's having huge success as Cody Bellinger with the Dodgers. I think his average has dropped down. I was watching last night to 312, but he's got over 40 home runs and over 100 RBIs, I believe, already. So Cody Bellinger, that's one guy right now that whenever he's batting, if I'm doing the channels, I want to watch him hit.
Is Trout still the best player in baseball?
100%.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Will we be saying that about Bregman one day?
Look, Bregman's a star, but to put him up in Mike Trout category at this point, I don't see him being Mike Trout. But once again, Bregman's a stud, and
but maybe the best third baseman in baseball, potentially.
Possibly, So that's not too shabby. But to put him up with Mike Trout, people always talk about what Christian Yelich too with the Brewers, and he's a star too. But I don't think anybody's going to touch Mike Trout he's hands down, in my opinion, best player in baseball.
Brad, thanks so much, man, for taking the time to join us here on this Monday morning, and we will be. See what you come up with. I know. I knew when the Little League World Series was doing what it was doing. I said, "Boy, Brad Cressy's getting a lot of phone calls right now." And so I know you'll do your due diligence and see if maybe that has some viability in Baton Rouge or not. I'll be curious. Whenever you find out something, let me know. I'm curious to get the information. I'm just curious what all the rules and stuff are. Clay Moffitt will join us next. We'll talk some LSU football. Don't go anywhere.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows.
Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Shorts presented by LeBears Casino. Thanks to the former Tiger great Brad Cressy, who was, of course, had the game-winning hit in that 2000 College World Series. Joining me now is Clay Moffitt, who just wrapped up his playing career a few months ago for Paul Maneri and the Tigers, and but he's really, let's face it, deep down, he's a football guy. How are you, Clay?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good.
We got football season about to start up, but before we, talk some LSU football, which you know a lot about, two quick things I want to hit on. Little League World Series, kind of put a bow on that conversation. Were you all in this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, watching the Louisiana?
So I was watching it. I got about 15 texts from my mom because she's from River Ridge.
That's
so
right.
She grew up over there. We grew up going to River Ridge, when I was younger. That's where my grandparents lived. And so that was really cool. She was really excited to see that just because, River Ridge, Louisiana, people are like, where, what, who is that,
Right.
And for them to go out there and, win, something on such a large scale is pretty neat. So.
Yeah, and there was actually a Curtis on the team, which John Curtis High School is located right there in River Ridge. And so there was obviously a Curtis that was one of the players that would come off the bench and had a nice tournament. It had to bring back some memories. You're not that old, so it wasn't that long ago, 10 years or so, that you were playing Little League baseball. Talk about a dream come true, huh? Not only to get to Williamsport, but to come through the losers bracket. It had never been done since they changed this format, about 10, 12 years ago. It had never been done that somebody lost the first game and then won the World Series. Now, it had been done before back in, I think, 2001. There was a team that lost the first game and went through, but this was the new format. This team had to win 6 in a row.
Yeah, and that says a lot about those kids. That's Louisiana tough, down home kids that are, facing adversity at a young age and able to overcome it. That says a lot about those guys, and I'm proud of them. That's awesome.
A lot of great things in store for them. They'll be celebrating, I'm sure, for months and months and months. The other thing I wanted to talk to you were on Sports Shorts Radio over this past weekend. We gave you a little homework, and that was to try the Popeyes chicken sandwich because you are a Chick-fil-A guy.
Yeah, I like the Chick-fil-A
You go off the
sandwich.
menu. Give me your order at Chick-fil-A.
I go off the menu. So if I'm getting breakfast, I do the chicken biscuit with egg and cheese. And
It's not on the menu.
No.
The guy gets it done.
And then, they take care of it. And then
serve you. Our pleasure, whatever they say. Yeah.
And then if I'm getting a chicken sandwich, I get it well done. I don't like a soggy chicken sandwich, so I want it fried, well.
And
you
that's
ask for it
amazing
well
that
done.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
So I can say well done, and they'll leave it in the fryer a little longer.
A little
Very
longer, and it's fresh.
Right.
It's fresh sandwich. So then you told me to go to Popeyes, 3 stores, 3 different Popeyes, and they were all out of chicken sandwiches.
Wow.
I had a guy walking out of the store mad, bitter. He said they don't have French fries, they don't have chicken sandwiches. Don't even waste your time going in there. So yes, sir. Turn around, walk straight back to my truck. So yeah, I don't think they were too well prepared for their rush of.
Do me a favor, hang in there. Just give an occasional stop by once a day. See if there's a Popeye. But I'm telling you that
looks
sandwich.
good.
That sandwich will change your life. It's
massive.
It's amazing. That's making me want one now. Please get that off the screen because I'm going to go to one and they're going to be out and I'm going to be upset. Yeah, I'm thinking like you either got to go like 15 minutes before the doors open. So I guess 11 o'clock or I don't know, 10:30 is probably when Popeyes opens. I'm thinking if I'm there at 10:20. Yeah, that's the thing, man, about Popeyes. It's just it's tough. I said this on the radio show, and I believe it. They should serve the chicken sandwich with a Valium because you got to take a Valium in order to order and just sit there. There could not be anything more different than an experience than going to Chick-fil-A to get food and going to Popeyes to get food. It's not the same thing. It's tough. It's tough. You have to woosa, zen, and be prepared.
Coach, they had a printout of a piece of 8x10 paper on the door, black and white. Looked like somebody had faxed it to him. No, it looked like somebody had faxed it to him, black and white. And it was like a lone chicken sandwich on it, and then it said temporarily out of stock. Right. On top of it, and they had it taped to the door with some Scotch tape.
It's like a missing pet.
Right now,
like a missing dog.
Contact, yeah.
Have you ever, whenever you've gone to the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, did you ever look out the window at all the chicken coops? Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. So when we did go to Arkansas, the airport we go to is like 45 minutes from the actual stadium.
Northwest Arkansas.
And it is in the middle of the boonies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, we take this big bus down these roads, or we're halfway in the ditch, trying to turn corners and stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of, it's rural wherever we land out there.
Well, Tyson Chicken is based up there, like Walmart. So Tyson Chicken, obviously one of the largest chicken, they do a lot of Tyson foods, period. But if you ever notice when you're flying into the airport up there near Fayetteville, you look out the window as you're about to land, there's chicken coops, giant chicken coop farms. And of course, they don't look as big as, from the air as they do in person. And think about it, if, how many chickens you can put in a small space, right? So there are millions of chickens up there in Northwest Arkansas. Right now, Popeyes is pumping those puppies up with steroid. We got to get some chickens going, baby. I mean, there is a chicken frenzy up in North. The price of the meat per pound
That's
is
what we should
going through
invest
the roof.
in. We should invest in Tyson. That's the call.
It. We should invite we need to find out who provides chickens to Popeyes and invest in them.
We'll cut this part out the show.
Yeah. Please do some research on that, Lauren, because I'm tired of this working thing. I need to buy some Popeyes and chicken stock. Visit with Clay Moffitt, former LSU Tiger pitcher, Catholic High Bear, state champion in baseball. I remember that. 2013 state title. Mm-hmm. Young freshman by the name of was playing second base, Josh Smith.
Yeah, well, Josh was playing shortstop.
Was he playing short as a freshman?
Hunter DeArmond was playing second base.
Gotcha.
Hunter is now he just got ordained. Well, I don't know if he's ordained, but he signed over to be a Jesuit priest.
Wow. Yeah, so I saw Bass posted that picture.
So now he leaves and goes to Chicago, and he'll get his doctorate, and it's like a 9-year process to be.
That's pretty amazing.
Ordained. Yeah.
It's amazing to think that one team, he went this way, you went that way. How did that happen? I don't know.
Crazy.
Let's talk some LSU football. Your dad, Tommy Moffitt, the strength and conditioning coach. You got your brother on the team, Aaron, and you're out there watching and all that. I know every August you're excited about the start of the season, and everybody's always optimistic, and everybody always thinks they can go undefeated. But there just seems like there's a different level of confidence and expectation this year.
Yeah, my friends mess with me. Everybody messes with me because I'm the most optimistic LSU football fan ever. And every year, it's kind of the same spiel. And I don't know, just this year going to watch those guys, it just looks impressive. I mean, those guys look phenomenal. And just talking to Aaron and sitting down there, he's like, man, I got a good feeling, man. I got a good feeling. And, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be what everybody's been asking for, and what we've done in the past, it just hasn't been different, and I think we're going to give them a different look, because in football you plan months and months and months ahead. You're planning for your opponent way before you ever step on the field with them. So if you give a team something to plan for and it's been the same for the past 10 years, it makes it easy for them. If you've been planning for the same offensive approach for 10 years, then you get dominated. And I think now these teams, our opponents, are not going to be able to plan for what they've been planning for the past 10 years, especially in the SEC. I feel like they had us down to a science. And now it's like, okay, we got this new passing game coordinator. We got, this new look. We got this new feel. We're going to spread the ball out, go 5 wide, whatever we're going to do. I don't think other teams are going to be prepared for it. And I think it's just going to give us a more advantage. And I think these guys and these players are bought into it more as well. I mean, it's just – but is it going to be the deal breaker? I don't know, but it looks better. And just hearing, my brother talk, he's like, man, everybody's bought in. And that's what it's all about.
When you talk about the offense changing or opening up or whatever the case may be, most of that falls on the shoulders of the head coach because, there's a lot of OCs that can draw up plays in the dirt. But Les Miles, we know that he was ultra conservative, and he's a former O-line coach. And at the end of the day, even though they had this big old playbook, he was going to use 20% of it. Mm-hmm. And he would get tight and conservative. And when the game, his attitude, like a lot of coaches, was let's just keep it close to the vest, win it in the end. Mm-hmm. And I think to a certain extent, maybe even a little bit when he first, he's a D-line guy, mm-hmm. really not much different than an O-line guy. And I think it's one thing to be able, when you're an assistant, it's easy to sit back and say, let's sling it everywhere. Yeah. When you're the head coach and you're like, I got to get my 9 wins to keep my money and get my contract and keep everybody's job, you start to think a little differently. But it looks like he has decided, you know what, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off a little bit.
So, the head coach, every decision, no matter what it is, falls upon your shoulders. You're in charge. You're the head honcho, and no matter what you do, it's going to come back to you. Yeah, the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, they'll get some flack, but at the end of the day, it's the head coach. And Coach O, I think he's a very he's a smart head coach, and he hired his coordinators to do their job. And he's going to let them do their job. And I think that, we got some good coordinators, and I think they're going to do well.
By the way, Gabe, give us an update on your brother. Well, new position. Is
doing
he
really
healthy?
well.
Like, give me an idea of what his role could possibly be this
year. So I think they call him the road grader. I mean, he's 6'3", 6'4", 260 pounds. He actually told me he was a little light the other day. Camp it wears him down, but he said he's lightening him up, but. He's going to do a lot of blocking for him, I think. I mean, he's a big old boy, big, strong guy. So I think he's going to do a lot of blocking for him. His route running's gotten pretty good, But, when you transition from playing D tackle, D end, kind of the defensive mindset to the offensive mindset, it was kind of tough for him. He'd grown up playing defense his whole life, and, now he's playing offense, trying to,
What's his number going to be?
42.
42.
Yeah.
So we'll look for 42 in the jumbo packages, right?
Yeah. And I think he's going to play a lot of special teams.
Mm-hmm.
He'll send me we'll sit down and we'll get on the couch and watch film and stuff. And a lot of this film has been him on special teams. So if he can, do pretty well in this, he's only a sophomore. Mm-hmm. So, if he, I think he'll do well on the special teams, and then, hopefully he'll get some playing time, on the offense, but we'll see.
He's Clay Moffitt. We'll take a timeout. Sports Shorts. We'll come back. We'll talk Joe Burrow and this LSU team, and kind of we'll talk also about the opening night game, which was that was messy between Florida and Miami. That's coming up next.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows.
Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Sports Shorts, tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everyone's final segment. Clay Moffitt here joining us, former LSU Tiger. The big news over the weekend, real quick, Andrew Luck. Did that shock you like it did me that he was retiring from the Colts?
It shocked me, but you know, he's 29 years old, and it just doesn't seem right. You know, it seems like there's something behind closed doors that a lot of people don't know about, or something that's going on with him or his health-wise, or he can't feel right or something that's causing it. Because, I mean, why else would it, you know, I
know people losing their mind that the fans booed when he was – I get it. I bought season tickets. And now, like 2 years ago, we were terrible because he was out all year. I bought season tickets, and now he quits before the first game, and now we're going to go 2-14. You know, I mean, like, that's real life stuff. I mean, these people are spending thousands of dollars. They, you know, just like they have the right to cheer, they have the right to boo. Now, I don't think I think it was just an initial reaction. We're at the game, everybody's phones light up. You know, Andrew Luck retired. He's standing right there. I'm sitting here wearing an Andrew Luck jersey, excited about the start of the season. And then all of a sudden you quit. And now I'm like, okay, great. We're 2-14 again for the second time in 3 years. And
I've had six beers at the preseason
just away
game.
$6,000.
Yeah. You know, and a fan and a player, they'll never be on the same page.
Yeah.
Ever. And the player looks at it one way and the fan looks at it the other way, like how you describe how the fan looks at it. And the player looks at it and says, hey, I have a life to live, you know, and if I do mess up my neck and I can't walk for, you know, or whatever it is, whatever the reasoning is, and they'll never be on the same page, and there'll always be an argument about it.
I just believe he'll be back one day. I think he'll take a year or two to heal. He's too young. He's too good, and at some point he's going to be tired of being at home with the wife and kid. Let's talk Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, you've been out there at practice a number of times. You've seen a difference in him.
Yeah, I mean, well, the guy is just a competitor. Absolute competitor, whatever you want to call it. The guy competes. He's going to, you know, till the last play of the game, he's going to fight. You know, he's going to give it all he has. He loves Louisiana. He loves LSU. But I think what I've noticed is that he's just it looks more comfortable. You last year you get thrown into the ringer. He coming down here, he gets thrown in the ringer. Everybody's expecting everything out of you. And I don't think he wasn't scared. It was just new. He wasn't intimidated by the expectations. He was just new to it. New offense, new coach, new everything. Now I think he's got a lot more comfortable, and he's playing more loose. I mean, if you play loose, that's when you perform your best. And I think he's playing more loose, and he's really starting to get his feel, and he is just competing and playing phenomenal.
He's Clay Moffitt. He will be in Tiger Stadium like the other 100,000 folks on Sunday night. He won't be going as crazy as his dad, Tommy Moffitt, because I don't know what Tommy yells and screams. I don't know what he does. Clay, thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Check out Clay Moffitt from time to time on Sports Shorts TV and radio. Special thanks to Brad Cressy, who joined us to talk a little League World Series. Congratulations to River Ridge in New Orleans.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows.
Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.